But in other words, the room is shaped like it could have been the room.
Okay.
You say this is the third deck, huh?
This is third deck.
Huh. Okay. But that bench is new, but there used to be a, and we're not going to do anything here today. There used to be a little bench over here.
Okay.
And we used to have I say if this is the room, and we used to have our Silex coffee makers here.
Okay.
And behind here, as I say, was these, we had 8 motor generator sets, which we never turned on until September 2nd.
Okay.
All right, because we were the ship that broadcast the news. And underneath here someplace is a steel deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't see it. So I'll have to take my
I'm going to trust you that there. So the story is that you want to tell the story.
Tell the story.
It.
You know, as I say, I was in charge of all communication aboard the ship. We had 2 chiefs. One was radar, one was communication. And I had a gang about what? Maybe 8, 10, 12 guys that used to work for me. And we used to do nothing but drink coffee all day. And that's all you could do.
Yeah.
All right? And then came the end of the war. And we were up in Tokyo Bay. And the communication ship, starts with an A, I forget the name of it, had trouble. Couldn't get up there. Now we were sent back, to diverge just a little bit, we were sent back in January 45. 2 thrust bearings had gone in the typhoon we went through. No enemy action, but that threw us out, and we had to go back to port to get it fixed. So when we got back, so when we were in port, what they did, they changed officers' country. At the forward end of officers' country, they took out 2 of the state officers' rooms, and they put in a large 5 kW Collins transmitter, a commercial transmitter, not a Navy transmitter, a commercial transmitter. So every time we had any sort of serious action, this transmitter would always pop off. But it wasn't built to take 16-inch guns. So anyhow, so the war ended. We had no communication ship. MacArthur was up there already, all right, and the Missouri was there, and we were tossing coins. Who was going to be the ship, the lucky ship for the surrendering? Mm-hmm. Well, as you all know, the Missouri got it, and we were pissed off like crazy because they had just been out there a little bit, and the only reason they got it was because Truman was president.
Yeah.
So anyhow, but I got the word, I guess, about a few days before September 2nd, that we're going to have to get ready to handle all the press releases. And I don't know where all these guys came from, but all of a sudden, I had to put transmitters which in 2.5 years I never turned on. So I didn't really know if they were going to work. All right? Anyhow, since I knew I was going to be on duty for a long time, the pharmacist mate, I was pretty friendly with him. He gave me a batch of Benadryl pills to keep me going, so because there was no way I could stay. Anyhow, so before I left, I told the guy, I said, look, I want you to swap down the deck. I don't want to see any dirt or any dust when I come back. And I said, you see that stain back there? I said, you swab the deck and get that clean. 2-3 days later, I come back, and I walk in, I have a beard and everything, and they said, Chief, you want a cup of Joe? Sure, yeah. So somebody who was sitting there shaking it up gave me my chair back, and that's exactly where my desk was. And no, it was after that, because I couldn't look back here, right? So they gave me a cup of coffee, and in the process, I started to look around before I hit the sack. I got up, I took a look back here, and that coffee stain, which I had told them to make sure they cleaned it up, was still on the deck. I blew my stack. I had no more patience after that. But anyhow, so I took a walk back here, and we had these, I forget, either 2, 3, or 4 of these Silex burners, and I took a look. Now, Silexes, they're a little before your time, but you remember them.
Yeah, I know. I know the name.
Okay, so you made coffee, but you put it in the top, and the water will bubble up, and brew the coffee, and then it would all, because the vacuum is going down below, it would all go back down. Right? And then when you put the next one in, you took out the old one, put it in, and changed it. P.S. I go take a look back there, and the top is half full of coffee. It was normally, it's only on the bottom. So we happen to have a Mexican. It was great. He found stuff that nobody else at Boy Ship was able to find. But he made the coffee. I forget his name. I said, how do you make the coffee? He said, oh, when there's no more coffee left, I open another bag and put it in. I said, that's all you do? Yeah. I said, well, when do you change it? He said, when the coffee gets close to the top, that's when we change it. I said, you would be kidding me. No wonder the coffee was so terrible. And this deck, they finally swabbed it down. And as I tell the boys, you could see the stain on the deck. The outline, it wasn't a deep etching, but if you ran your finger lightly over it,
It was etched.
it was etched.
Wow.
All right? And we had coffee like that for about the last year.
Wow.
And we all drank coffee. It was worse than the Coca-Cola ever was.
Oh, that's funny.
But that's where it was, right down here. If this is the room. Because it looks like it could have been the shape. And this is all added because
Yeah.
it took, the motor generators took much more room. See, so this could have been the room. And this is the third deck.
Third deck.
Okay, you were right.